What's up, everybody? I'm Dean Nelson, and you're watching Living in Nashville, Tennessee. Me and my father, Jay, are realtors, developers, and builders here in Middle Tennessee with over 1,300 properties sold and 26 years of experience. Today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all a market update / snapshot. Right now, we have about 20 listings on the market, and so I feel like I have a pretty decent understanding of the pulse of the market right now and how people are feeling just due to the large sample size that I have. I'm able to see everything from first-time home buyer price points, remodels, to new construction. So I have a little bit of it all right now, as well as some vacant lots and land. And so I just feel like right now, at least today, I have a great understanding of what buyers are thinking right now. So later in this video, I'll go over some data and statistics and things like that from my MLS. But for the first part, I'm just gonna tell y'all how I feel about how things are going right now with housing in Middle Tennessee. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is buyer demand and kind of the ebb and flow of demand versus supply right now. So with rates being high, which I know a lot of people are saying, well, rates aren't that high. They were 16, 17% before. Well, housing was a lot less expensive back then. So for where pricing is today on homes, 7% is pretty high. It's pretty expensive. Affordability is definitely lower than it was back during the pandemic. Those years of 2, 3, and 4%, 5%, things like that. You know, although there were still definitely multiple offers, bidding wars, appraisal gaps, craziness in the market. In terms of affordability for the payment, if you found the right home that wasn't just going crazy, you could get a good rate on it. And so that means that a large portion of people in America right now have rates from those lows. You know, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, all that. And so what that leads to is, on the supply side, a lack of people willing to sell their homes because it doesn't quite make sense. So if you have a rate that's at 3% and current rates are at 7%, if you've gained $250,000 of equity, although that's awesome, a lot of people aren't tapping into that right now because where would they go, right? So inflation is still high, things are definitely still expensive, and so when you compare what the new payment will be on homes compared to what they're currently paying, that leads to a lot of people not selling right now unless they have to, unless they're, you know, say they're moving out of state, get a new job. Let's say they have to downsize or they have to upsize due to new family members and things like that. We're just seeing a whole lot less on the supply side than we normally would have. And so that is leading to pricing being relatively similar, if not more, than what it has been. So of course we're seeing more reductions on the market than I've seen in recent times. But once pricing gets to market value, things are selling, and that's because buyers are still out there. Tennessee is a hot place to be when it comes to taxes. Again, we have no state-based income tax, so that means we are still very attractive to places like California, New York, Washington. Lots of people are still moving here, and so they're kind of pushing a lot of that demand on the buyer's side. Again, we're not seeing huge corrections on price though due to the lack of supply. And so what does that mean for affordability? Let me say right now, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a genie, I can't see into the future. Here's what I do know. Let's say something's overpriced, right? When it gets to that price that makes sense, it's gone. I've actually even had multiple offer scenarios within the last 30 days on homes that were listed for 45, 50 days, and we got multiple offers at the end because we got it to the correct price. And so the demand is still there. It's just that the price has to make sense. I'm seeing buyers be more picky than they've ever been in my experience, you know, seeing tons and tons of showings sometimes without any offers on certain homes because buyers are wanting everything to be done, fully turnkey and ready to go. If they're going to be paying these higher interest rates and these higher payments, they don't want to go into homes that need a ton of work. And so even things that would have been easy to sell, you know, fix and flips and certain things, you know, even a year and a half ago, I'm seeing, you know, kind of some crazy offers. Obviously, when you have a good realtor or a good agent who knows values, you're not going to undersell it. But I am seeing it a little bit more difficult to get kind of some investors to move because they're afraid of these rates. Development, I think, has slowed down. I personally know that lots of developers do not want to do any type type of construction loans with these interest rates right now. And so that is leading to, although we have all these projects that are being completed that have already been started, and you have huge tract home builders that will always be, building things, but a lot more localized developers and smaller developers are starting to hold back and pump the brakes a little bit, waiting to see what happens with these rates. Projects that have already been completed, of course, are being sold off, but people are less likely to go into new developments. And so I believe that here in about a year or two, we're going to run into an even worse supply issue if interest rates stay, let's just say everything stays the exact same. I think we're going to run into worse supply issues as no new construction or less is going to be completed. So this is all anecdotal experience. This is just based on my dealings with people, builders, developers, even some of our own projects and things like that. So the question of is now the right time to buy for you, I think comes down to one thing: is can you afford it? I do think that pricing is going to continue to trend upwards over time, especially here in Middle Tennessee. As I've said, I'm still seeing all the demand here. There's still people buying. Pricing just has to be correct. And when I say correct, it's not hundreds of thousands of dollars off. It's like 5 or 10 on a lot of properties. Not huge swings, even though you're seeing that there are more reductions in the market. There are still buyers out there. And when that price gets to where it makes sense, boom, you're getting offers on things. People are into it. So what does that mean for long-term affordability on homes? Unfortunately, I don't think that pricing is going to come down to insanely low levels. If they hold rates where they're at for a long time, I do think that we can see more reductions, but it all just depends on the demand from the buyer side and the people still moving here. We're going to get into some statistics and data here in a minute, and I'm going to show you the year-over-year stat changes for pricing in Nashville and some other cities and things, and you'll see I'm not just making it up. Pricing's still trending up. People are still moving here. People are still buying. I'm still excited every single time I comp my own house. So although we are seeing some kind of hiccups in the market, we're actually coming to a more normalized market where, you have to kind of come to realism, but inflation's still there and it's sticky. And so that affects housing pricing too. Again, we are seeing some reductions, but it's just not what people are calling for. It's not a crash. It's nothing insane. It's just a balanced market that we're seeing, and things are trending upwards. So now that I've given y'all my opinion on the market, let's kind of dive into some data and see if anything I've said is right. Here we're going to be looking at some of the data that I have from my MLS. This right here is the last 30 days. This is taking just Nashville, so things with a Nashville address. So this is the last 30 days. We are seeing that sales price median, which I like using a little bit more than averages because it takes out the outliers. Median is actually trended up 2% in the last 30 days from 610 to 620. Let's look at average days on the market. So things are selling faster in the last 30 days than they were. 26 days on the market for average versus 22 right now. Things are selling a little bit quicker, but the month of supply, so the amount of homes on the market essentially, compared to the amount of people buying them rather, has actually increased. So month of supply, we have 3.5 compared to 4.6. That's a 31% increase of supply. That's a pretty big jump in the last 30 days. When we look at active inventory, we can see that 1694 compared to 1609, so there's not too many more homes that are sitting. As far as under contract, there's slightly less people in the last 30 days, 813 versus 775. New listings is actually down in the last 30 days, 894 versus 789, down 12%. And the number of closings, so the amount of people that bought, and this is kind of a trailing thing because closings are going to be representative. People that made offers, anywhere from 14 to 30 to 60 days ago. But closings are actually down over the last 30 days from 610 to 473. That is your market update. In my opinion, I think if rates stay the same where they're at, people are still going to be buying. Pricing just has to make sense. It has to be at market value. But people are around, people are buying. If you are interested in learning anything about Middle Tennessee, be sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to connect. My number is 615-987-7536. We love what we do. Seriously, text or call me at any time. I specialize in helping folks from out of state at this point, I'd say. Check out my channel. I have tons of vlog tours of different listings that I have, as well as everything you need to know about certain areas here in Middle Tennessee. So if you're looking to learn more about housing or just Tennessee in general, be sure to check my channel out. I'd love a subscribe if you liked what you saw today, or a like bell if you enjoyed what you saw. And if you don't want to miss anything related to this type of content, hit the bell to get notifications on when we drop new videos. We love what we do. Me and my father Jay have been in this game for 26 years, over 1,300 homes sold. If y'all want to chat about real estate, if you want me to tour some homes for you, if you don't have time to fly in, give me a call. I'd love to help. Thank you all so much, and you have a very blessed rest of your day. See ya.